Alright, so we're gonna make a sigil. So this is some more witchy stuff, kind of stuff. But I was kind of thinking about it earlier because I've been intending to make a sigil for a little while. But that I found that several days ago when I was hiking and exploring those caves, and I encountered those bees, and one bee, after I made that video, one bee actually got stuck in my hair, and I was like, oh my, please don't sting me, please don't sting me. Okay, let's just take care of it. No, please, please God, don't let me get stung. And so I found that I was praying. And so in crises like that, I still resort to prayer, because of course I didn't want to get stung, but I thought it was interesting that I wasn't willing to accept what was. Like, oh, please don't let this be the reality that's gonna happen. Anything but getting stung. And this lighter he's not gonna work. Oh well. So I kind of view sigils like prayers. They're like, or like protection spells, stuff like that, where not necessarily that you don't accept what is, but asking for a little bit extra oomph to be able to get through whatever it is to get through, or have a little bit extra strength or whatnot. And sigils are just kind of really cool. They're an ancient way of using your intention to bring something to fruition and putting your energy into creating this magical symbol that will support and help what you want to come to pass. It's just putting that energy into something, which is pretty neat. So it's kind of like the energy that is stored in my bones, my bone reading stuff. It has all the different energy from the different things I've collected in nature, whether it's animals or stones or whatnot. And then, and a lot of this I kind of, the bone reading stuff I've derived from hoodoo. I was speaking with this person that I discovered on Facebook. Her name is Ray Chan, and she was kind of educating me more on hoodoo. And then she really helped me understand why rocks and gems and stuff like that are used for energy. Because before I didn't really get it. Like, okay, it's a stone, how does it have a bunch of energy? But when she explained that stone has been through like so much stuff, and it's just been around for a long time, and it's seen a lot of things, and so energy's been stored inside the stone, and that kind of really helped me connect with it and understand it a little bit better, because I already comprehended the idea that energy is stored in, say, plants or in animals, and then or in objects, because I'm really into paranormal investigation and how energy can be transferred and stored inside, say, a house, and a house can then be haunted because of what has happened in that house. That made a lot of sense to me. And so when she explained it, that it's nothing different than what happens with, say, a house becoming filled with energy, it really helped me understand more about how gemstones and stones could be powerful tools. And I have this stuffed animal. His name is Lucius. I made him, and he's a grub, and he's the embodiment of my depression in this grub form. And so when I'm mad at Lucius, sometimes I will say I'll kick him, or I'll shove him in dirt, or like several months ago I drowned him in the sink. I filled it up with water and drowned him. I've thrown him off a balcony before, stuff like that. And so Lucius has all this crazy energy that's been stored inside of him, which I never realized that I was doing until I started understanding this process better and believing in this process. So Lucius, he's a little bit fucked up, but that's what he is. He's the embodiment of my depression. But then I love him still. So with sigils, it's kind of the same thing. You're taking the time to create this prayer and this wish that you have, and spending the time creating the symbol that represents that. And so you're putting your energy into this symbol, and so then you can use that symbol. You can write it, like I like to write sigils on my packages that I mail out. So I do like a safe travel sigil, which is kind of cool, and you can make a new one as often as you want. You don't have to use the same one over again. And there's a few different ways to make sigils, but I really like them because they're artistic and they're creative, and it's just an interesting way to pray. And I keep on going back to like this quote from Anna Green Gables where she's like, Marilla's like, don't you say your prayers? And Anne's like, no, I've never been taught to say my prayers. But if I were to go out and if I were to pray, I would want to go out into a big open field and I would just feel a prayer. And that always really connects with me lately because praying has just been so boring, and a lot of times I would lose focus and like not be able to pay attention. And be like, oh yeah, I need to remember that I'm trying to say a prayer and just whatever. So they were like really draining, but so this is an interesting way to say a prayer in a sense. So I'm going to show you what I do. It's kind of a more creative way to pray or ask for protection or ask for whatever it is that you want. For example, this sigil that I'm going to make is going to a specific person. And it has to do with these little guys here. I've collected these. They are dragonfly exoskeletons, and I've been collecting them for a while, but all the dragonflies at my work now, they're not coming out of the water and transforming into their next stage. They're still all nymphs swimming around in the water. So I think looks like there's four exoskeletons in here. So I'm gonna make a sigil as a blessing regarding exoskeletons and giving the person that's going to just a little bit of a stronger exoskeleton. So let's just see what's gonna happen. Alright, trying to place everything here so you can see it well. So this paper, it's anointed with frankincense oil, which I've learned recently frankincense is from the bursera tree. And there's a bursera at my work and it smells so good. And so it's pretty cool to now understand what frankincense comes from. But you might be able to see the oil that I have on the paper. And so the oil is frankincense oil that my mom gave me several years ago when I was in a lot of pain. And I've like prayed over and blessed the oil. Name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And so it's like holy oil. And so I like to bless whatever paper that I write my sigils on. So let's just come up with some words for my sigil. Never remember how to spell the word strengthen. Babe, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How do you spell strengthen?
S-T-R-E-N-G-T-H-E-N.
Okay, so it's N-G-S-T-R. Okay, I have it reversed. Thanks. Okay, so what I wrote is Strengthen the exoskeleton which cradles this beautiful dragonfly. And I know it's kind of riddle-like, but the intention is there and the meaning is there, and I know what this means to me and for the person that it is going to. And so I've read that when making sigils you want to be as clear as possible. So I know I'm kind of speaking in riddles, but this is kind of poetic in how I speak. So I think that it is sufficient. Strengthen the exoskeleton which cradles this beautiful dragonfly. So then what you do from there, alright, I had to make sure I was saying the right word, because I always forget if A, E, I, and O, U are called vowels, but they are the vowels. Okay, so you want to cross out all the vowels in your sentence. So I'm just crossing out all the E's, the O's, the I's, etc. Now you're left with all the consonants. And then you also want to cross out any repeating letters. So I have strengthen, and then STR, NG, T, then there's another T, so I'm going to cross out that T and continue on. So you only need one of each letter. So, and then I'm going down, and then there's the word the, but I don't need those letters either because they're already in the word strengthen. So I'm just gonna start writing out the letters that I will be using then. So there's S, T, R, and you just write out all of the letters next to each other. You didn't like Dragon Ball?
I just got to a point where I was just credits and I couldn't skip them, so I switched games.
What are those monsters?
I don't know what they are. I assume they're like sitting watching credits.
Mm. Alright, so then there's a Y at the end of Dragonfly, and I like Y's, so I decided I'm going to put my Y in there. Because A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, not always Y. So then I'm just going to double check, my letters, make sure that I've included everything. Alright, I got all of them. And now there's a couple different ways you can make sigils. I think that for this one, I'm just gonna merge all the letters together rather than create like, maybe in a different video I'll show you how to do this other kind of sigil, because there's two different ways that I know how to make sigils. I'm sure there's many more ways and you could come up with your own way of creating sigils, but these are the two that I use the most. And I make sigils for my plants sometimes. When I plant a new plant in a pot, I make a sigil and put it in the soil with the plant to give it an extra little lovable boost. So now, with this way of making sigils, you begin layering your letters over top of each other. So I'm gonna start. Now my letters that I make, they're usually pretty like angular, but yours don't have to be angular. You can make yours like smooth shaped. I guess I could try making a smooth shaped sigil. I'll try that. Usually I do like straight lines, but I'll try doing something different this time. And I'm just gonna do it down towards the bottom of the page so it's easy for me to tear out. So I'm just starting with the S as the basic shape for my sigil. And then there's a T. So you can get creative with how you put these in there. So for the T, I'm just gonna do a little line there, and the middle part of the S can be the cross of the T. But then I'm also seeing that, I hope you can see it okay. Probably be able to see it better once I Sharpie it out. I'm gonna do a little loop there, which then uses the line of the T, and it creates the R using that S shape. So just get creative with it. It doesn't have to be organized or structured, it's all what you put into it and what it means to you. So some of them are going to be lowercase letters and some of them are uppercase letters, just whatever I'm feeling, whatever makes sense as I'm creating it. So now I got, there's the S, T, R, N, G, H, and I see the X is already almost all the way in here. Just kind of need to bring it out a little bit more. That's kind of cool. It's making like an infinity sign now. And it's neat. I already see that there's a K that has been created in here, so I'm just kind of extending it out a little bit more. Maybe it'll help if I turn this light on. Or not. I don't know. I'll show you it up close once I finish it too. There's already an L. Looks like there's already a W as well. So it's cool, the more lines you make, the more the shape's already in there that you need. So it's just like a really artistic, creative way of putting good energy and love and intention into something that you would like to occur. It's just like a super creative way to pray. So they do take a little bit of time to create them, so it's interesting because it's almost like a meditative process because you have to sit down and focus and spend time to create this symbol. Okay, now that the sigil is pretty much complete, now you can, and there's my process of my sentence and then crossing out the letters to figure out which letters to use. So now that the sigil is complete, you can add in any additional embellishments that you think just give it a little bit more of that aesthetic touch that you're looking for, and a little bit more additional love and energy put into it. So a lot of times I add in like circles or make things into arrows. So I'm probably going to add in a couple arrows. And with sigils, like this one is a gift to a friend, so you can write in the note of what it means, or you can remain obscure and leave it up to their own interpretation and let them derive their own meaning from the sigil. I kind of like to be obscure. It keeps them curious and allows creative interpretation, and then the person can gather whatever they want to from the symbol that they're looking at, rather than already having a predetermined thing of what it's supposed to represent. So I decided that I like doing, this is a pretty cool sigil. I like the sigils where they, now that I've done them not with just straight lines, turned out pretty neat. I like it so far. I think it's just about done. sigil to represent strengthen the exoskeleton which cradles the beautiful dragonfly. Strengthen the exoskeleton which cradles this beautiful dragonfly. Turned out really pretty. And so then I just like to tear them out gently off of the paper, kind of. I don't know. It just feels more personal and organic than cutting out the shape. And I just personally like the rough edges. So now we have this beautiful little intention, prayer, blessing, little spell that has that good energy put into it. It's such a pretty one. It turned out really good. Would you like to see the sigil, babe? Yeah.
Where is it?
Right here. Here.
What is Oh, looks nice. There's the arrows. Where did you get the arrows? What letters are those?
Those were letters. Those were just embellishments.
And dragon things?
What?
Morgans, yeah?
No, a boogish morguses. Okie doke. That looks so dark. Okay, now the sigil is complete. It turned out so pretty. I like it. I like making sigils a lot because they're just super creative, and you fill all this good and lovable, good intention and blessings into a little symbol that you can use wherever, all over the place. You can write it on stuff, you can put it, this little symbol, like all over your house. You can keep them in your car, you can keep them in your pocket, you can put them in your books, put them on packages you put in the mail, put them in your shoes, wherever you feel like you need a little symbol, little sigil of your own creation, and you can keep it with you. And so this one is going in a package of these little dragonfly exoskeletons. It looks so beautiful and nice. I love it. Oh, I should put little sigils in my other little jars. Making a little apothecary shelf of a whole bunch of different organic things that I'm collecting. Oh, my poor dragonflies! But that's okay, they got strong exoskeletons, they'll be alright. So, it's really nice. And, so, something cool with this package, it's going to a friend, and sometimes I feel like a sense of urgency, like, oh no, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to accomplish this, oh, there's something I should be doing, what do I need to do, how can I make it better, this and that. And then with Taoism, what I've learned is what is really important for my mental health is the art of doing nothing, and so that there's no need to rush and everything will work out in its own perfect timing. And And so this project has taken me a little while to complete. Actually, I've been collecting these for like 3 months now. And so I finally brought the dragonflies, the exoskeletons, home. And then I got the jar, and then I just now made the sigil, and it was really good making and exposing what I do to the world so you can learn how witchy I am and not be ashamed of it, but just be aware and open and honest about what I like to do. And so the whole process of creating this little jar was honestly taking me like 3 months. And there's another little element that I'm going to add into the package as well, which as far as I'm aware right now, what I intend to do is collect a little olive branch from a park that has little olive trees. And my neighbor, I believe it was my neighbor, put an olive branch on, like a little olive branch with olives on it. She put it on my front step as a blessing, and then when I researched the symbolism of what it said is that you extend an olive branch as a sign of peace and like the ending of arguments and stuff like that. So I want to put a little olive branch in the package as well, and then have the little sigils, the sigil and the eggshell, the sigil and the exoskeletons with the olive branch in the package. So just a little loving package of endearment and blessings and peace and exoskeletons, and it's just cool. It's been a really fun process, and so to realize that there's nothing I need to do, I don't need to rush the project. There's no urgency in creating this because everything will work out in its own perfect timing, and the package and the blessings will arrive right when they need to be, whenever that will be. So it could be tomorrow that I put it in the mail, or it could be another month from now. Who knows how long it might take? It doesn't matter how long it'll take because it'll arrive when exactly it needs to arrive. So it's cool slowing down and appreciating and realizing that there's no need to rush anything because it'll all work out exactly as it's meant to be. So thank you guys for watching me create these sigils, and I hope that you learned something. And maybe you might end up doing your own research on sigils and learning some stuff. So, I love you, and have a beautiful evening. Good night.